Hey everybody, we are going to get ready for a race at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve live with the Ukrainian Racing League. Link should be in the description for the live feed. So yeah, let's go ahead and give this a whirl, shall we? Hope that you are all doing a-okay. My eyes will be off screen to what's going on, but hopefully be able to see a little bit of reaction. Let me know if this kind of experiment starts to work. We will be racing on the hour, so in 20 minutes time the actual race will go ahead and begin. So just getting everything set up and ready to go. You may hear me chatting away to my broadcaster, and what they're doing is they're broadcasting the race direct to me on Discord screen share, direct out of iRacing. So that takes that off my hands. You'll probably sense a slightly different tone from me, maybe because of that. So I'm not doing the race directing. So I may be kind of trying to indicate to the producer, what I want to be looking at, what I want to see. But yeah, looking forward to this one. Just going to get everything prepared and ready to go. Get my trusty track map ready. So we're in Canada land for the penultimate round of the championship. Drivers will be getting ready right about now. They're in a practice session, I believe, and we go for a quick 10-minute quali, and we do a 20-minute sprint race, followed by a double-length 40-minute feature race. If you're an SVR driver or a fan from our SVR league, you'll recognise a few drivers. Lord Vader, the dark side, is racing, I think, as is Clara Krassenberg, you may know as Skycloud, and Richard DeLucas, you may well just know him as Lucas. Vader is racing under the name Ismael Fernandez. So those three drivers just getting to terms with iRacing. There's a fairly wide spread of ability, I would say, on the grid, but they are racing for cash prizes at the end of the season. At the moment, Kyra is doing really well. Skycloud doing very, very well indeed. But I think only the top three in the championship are actually going to get a cash prize at the end of it. Obviously, lots of plaudits on offer. I'm also getting ready to do a little bit of voice recording. So I've got a little way to go before I get into that. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so I've got a create highlight button here. I don't know if there's a bot command you guys can do within the chat, but anyway, let's get ourselves together. I might have to step away for just a moment, but I'll be back in a few minutes, I would imagine. And I think you'll probably then hear me chatting with the producer, who is based in Ukraine. He is Ukrainian. He is based out of Poland right now. But this league obviously does have some effect with the current war in Ukraine. War is a kind word for the invasion. Anyway, we race in solidarity with the country of Ukraine, of course. And there's probably a good third of the drivers are from Ukraine, but it is an international field, very good to have the support to the channel. So please go ahead and make sure you get onto the main race feed. The race feed video the live stream is pending already, is upcoming, so you should be able to get that loaded up. I will probably try and do the same thing. I haven't turned chat on for this thing. It's just too many things to try and watch at once. But I do try and keep an eye on the live chat on a separate screen that is broadcasting out on very poor quality, so that I'm not robbing my internet connection of what I need. So getting ready for the broadcast. Hopefully everybody will enjoy the races that we have coming up for you. Let's have a quick check that everything is live. There we go. That's good. Okay, so that's all good. At least I can hear that sound is coming through okay on this video. The idea behind doing a vertical stream is that hopefully it gets caught in the shorts feed, and people find you by accident more frequently. So if you have just come onto this one, we do live racing, both me stumbling around as a driver, but mostly we do on the channel. It's here for live commentated competitive league races. So we look forward to seeing that. So yeah, hopefully you've got the Ukraine-Canada race stream up. It's currently showing at 14.5 minutes out from the ultimate start of the broadcast. We do have a little quick advert break in the middle where we show replays quietly, and chance to go grab a drink and snack and everything. But welcome if you are joining us via the short stream. I hope you'll keep this up, but also go ahead and watch the race as well. I have no idea what it looked like when I commentate, so I don't think I'll watch this back. I might even delete it if it's terrible. But all the same, we'll do our best. I don't know. I'm thinking there is a button here that I can do just to turn off the video for myself. I think that just turns it off for myself. I've just pressed the button, so I'm going to just test whether that actually turns the whole flipping thing off. Looks like it turns the whole thing off, so that won't really be much good for anybody. So let's leave that on, and hopefully the audio's coming through okay. Shouldn't be too much background noise here, but my main mic is going directly into the PC, so I can interact with the league that way. Right, I am going to be back in just a moment's time. Please hang on, at least for the start of the sprint race, and let me know if this is an experiment worth continuing, if you feel like it. So yeah, drop a like if you don't mind, but most of all, just enjoy the race with us on the Ukrainian Racing League's channel. That is the Canada race coming up momentarily for you, and I'm just arranging. I've had to get standings together and everything ready to get underway for racing. All right, see you in a few moments. Okay, let's get ourselves into the race channel and get ready for this race. Hello everybody, Webbo here, radio check. Hey guys, excellent. I hear lots. Yeah, all good. Yes. Can we declare Eldar as champion? Is that the situation? Yeah, he's ahead of Chukweri, even if he no scores, because we're just doing the best 4 out of 6 rounds, right? So he's outscored him in the first 4, so I think that's, yeah, okay. Excellent. Probably then Kanto Chukweri is secured in second as well. Looking at it against Danko, I think it's possible Danko could get 4 higher scores. Ah, great. Yes, I was looking around. I'm accessing the Google document right now. So yeah, I've got that. But excellent. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Right, right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we want people who are just interested in scores and winning for sure. That's excellent. Okay. Right. So I don't see a stream up yet from you for Discord, just in case you didn't see. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Okay, I can see everything clearly. So I saw lots of new people coming into the server, but are they not racing with us straight away? Okay, no problem. And McGee next. Yeah, it's going to be turning into a tight corner and finding out very quickly. Should see out their mirrors, shouldn't they? Should be able to see that. Oh, that's really scary. Okay. Well. Left the city, did you say? Or no electricity? Electricity, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. It's tough. Another good reason to have those drop scores, I suppose, yeah. Two and a half minutes for practice. For the final race, yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. All good? Okay. Copy. Thank you. I'm seeing it's on vertical right now on my device. Can you check yours? It's showing on vertical output. You're good? There we go. Okay. Okay, welcome race fans to the Ukrainian Racing League, and it's the penultimate round of our championship here for the 2025 full season. My name is Webbo, here to join you for today's race as usual, and we are getting ourselves ready for a fabulous Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve round of the championship. We are here for a 20-minute sprint and a 40-minute full feature race, but first the all-important factor of qualifying comes up as our drivers are starting to exit the pits right now and get themselves ready. We've got Scott Edwards in main frame right now with the red and green neon green livery with the 444, and he is just coming out of the pits directly behind one of his main rivals here as we get ready then to see who is going to manage to qualify. I hope that our liveries don't drop out in that way, because that does make life rather difficult for a commentator, but we will persist and continue trying. It is the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve, of course, home of the Canadian Grand Prix, amongst many other forms of racing, and a rich heritage here at this temporary park circuit where you'll see a man-made lake, and it sits in the Ile de Gilles Villeneuve in between two sides of the river that runs directly through Montreal City. This is a fabulous place to go racing. It's a unique race circuit, of course, somewhere that the drivers will know very well from other forms of racing. We are going to tackle this today, though, with Formula 4 cars, which is a good balance of mechanical and aerodynamic grip. As out there right now in mainframe, for a moment at least, was Ilya Rakitin. Ilya Rakitin currently fourth in the championship, and I'll talk to you about those championship positions. We are able, with the best 4 of 6 rounds counting towards the drivers' results, we are able already to declare Eldar Nui as our inaugural champion here, ahead of Kamto Chukweri, who is very likely to secure second place through the course of today's race. Gergo Danko has had some very bright spots, and he's on 103 points, the only other driver on 3 figures after those 4 scoring rounds so far. Ilya Rakitin in 4th, with Brandon Devine in 5th place. Kyra Krasenberg, the iRacing rookie, is in 6th place on 55 points, and she won many new fans during the course of our broadcast last race out with her fantastic run in Charlotte Roval. Well, perhaps until the final lap. I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't seen the race yet, but if you haven't, it was tremendous. So go back and watch that and some of our output. There's a driver in the wall, not the wall of champions, but in a wall at least, during this qualifying session. There's another driver, and there's a huge crash there. That was Romo Sorokivsky, who had been sideways momentarily there in the black. This is the replay, and then coming through in the old Leighton House turquoise colours is one of his rivals, and he has had a big impact with the wall here. Roma Sorokivsky pushing hard. This is the 117 of Kyra Krasenberg in that camo teal, white and grey, teal, red and grey livery that you'll see racing here. And she caused such a stir last time out, and it was fantastic to see her performance. This is Ilya Rakitin with the teal front, black rear. We've skipped straight over to Norwegian Alexander Mikkelsen, newcomer here in the number 25 for Racing Lab Esports, and he's got the team name on the side of the car, so he's obviously not a newcomer to iRacing. We've got Augusto Fontes here from Brazil in first place at the moment, on track anyway, but overall in qualifying, Kara Krasenberg has the fastest lap. She has a 1:38.735, 1/10 of a second away from Ilya Rakitin. Just to continue what I was saying about the championship, Scott Edwards is in 7th, Sorokivsky himself in 8th place, with Danilo Donets in 9th. Maxim Zantimirov ahead of Dmitry Zaloshnikov, 10th and 11th place, but only separated by 2 points total. Rodrigo Basalo, Richard Lucas, David Da Silva and Ismael Fernandez making out the top 15 of the 24 drivers we've had so far contest this fabulous new Ukrainian Racing League round. We are almost halfway through qualifying, would you believe? Ilya Rakitin in second place, just by 1/10 of a second. Rodrigo Basallo here has yet to put a time on the board, obviously pushing incredibly hard. And by the look of the colour scheme on his car, I suspect he was the driver who made contact there with Sorakivsky after Sorakivsky's accident had already happened. And number 2, though, Rodrigo Basallo racing out of Portugal and exiting out of the famous Lipingo hairpin and onto the Casino straight, which isn't very straight, but it's straight enough. It's full throttle all the way down towards the pit lane entry, which is straight on at high speed. And then we slow significantly for the chicane of turns 12. And of course, the exit of turn 13 is the famous Wall of Champions. You get one of those 2 apexes wrong and you are catapulted into that Wall of Champions. And I don't think our tyre barriers are particularly soft on the exit of that. But diving down in towards that turn 1, which can cause so many issues, the compression of the racetrack into turn 1 and then turning in the opposite direction across turn 2. You've got a grass apex where drivers will run through. You've got a pit lane exit coming out of that corner as well. And the water, if we get any kind of rain, the water sits in a little gully there in between turns 1 and 2 and can cause significant oversteer, much worse than we just saw on screen there. This is Richard Lucas in the McDonald's colour scheme that we've affectionately named Richard, racing out of Haiti with the blue and red flag there, the 7:23. He's 7th fastest right now. Augusto Fontes, though, joins us with a huge impact and puts the car on provisional pole position by just 45 thousandths of a second ahead of Kyra Krassenberg. Ilya Rakitin still that 1/10 of a second away from Kyra, with Brandon Devine in 4th place. Scott Edwards is 5th. Alexander Mikkelsen is in 6th place, with Richard Lucas then in that 7th position. This is Brandon Devine in the black, red and white as he goes past and survives the Wall of Champions. He goes to cross the line, relatively late start finish line here, and a short run into the first corner, first 2 corner complex, almost a chicane, but of course a long looping open hairpin with that perilous infield section. A short shoot though up towards those turns 3 and 4, which can come at you quite quickly. It's very difficult to see the apexes of turns 3 and 4 from low down on the ground where our drivers are sitting. Of course, as Maxim Bunik from the Ukraine, not had the pleasure of commentating over Maxim very often before, but he's here in the number 39, racing with the orange nose, and that is a good, unusual and easy to spot colour scheme, and that will always win points with the broadcasters if you can do it. Almost looks like a duck's beak possibly on the side of the car as well, so we will see if he can waddle his way into a good qualifying position. Rodrigo Basallo, though, yet still to set a valid lap. We've got treacherous chicanes, we've got close walls, but not so close that you can't cross over track limits, and you can see already the tire marks collecting on the exit of the turn 8 and 9 run. This is the short run made famous, of course, by Robert Kubica as he spun and shed various parts of his car down in towards Le Pingo hairpin we've just been through as we exit out of there, and then it is a straight long run. We would normally see DRS on that on this straight, but of course here in Formula 4 we do not have any fake overtaking gimmicks. 9 drivers have set times. We are waiting for Rodrigo Basallo to get himself into a position where he can at least log a time and then start to push. Where does Basallo manage to get to as we cross over those grid hatchings and passing the pits complex? Rodrigo Basallo, it's showing, well, that's his relative time on the right hand side of the screen. He's gone into 6th place there, 7/10 of a second only away from the fastest times, and our top 8 are within a second of each other, and that's great to see. We are missing our newly crowned champion and second place drivers and third place drivers in the championship, so we should have a more competitive session. Scott Edwards just pushes the envelope slightly too far, the rear of the car getting away from him, and he ends up underneath the trees there in a hidden patch on the racetrack, so we didn't quite see how he ended up, but he's managed to get himself back to the pit lane, and he'll have to get some repairs done. It's certainly been eventful, these first few minutes of the sessions here. This is Brandon Devine just stamping on the throttle a little hard, and that was Scott Edwards a little further close up, a similar situation, but I think he did avoid damage. It'll just be the time penalty for heading back to the pits, but that is how qualifying is closing out. Augusto Fontes, pole position ahead of Kyra Krassenberg. Alexander Mikkelsen, it seems, managing to get into third place there here on his debut. Our Norwegian newcomer, with Ilya Rakitin, the highest placed Ukrainian driver, ahead of Brandon Devine, Rodrigo Basallo, Scott Edwards, Giovanni Carvalho, another Brazilian who's joined us, Roma Sorakivski in 9th, Richard Lucas in 10th, and Maxim Bunik managing to get the car qualified at least and set up ready for the race. There's our pace car. We wonder if the pace car will be needed. It is fairly frequently needed here at the Ukrainian Racing League, especially if we have an accident or an incident on track that features more than 2 drivers as we get ready. We've got Hal Vitor, who is cheering on Eco, Rodrigo and Giovanni, no surprise there, and Charlotte is already watching. I know Charlotte was a keen follower and fan of Kyra Krassenberg, who has managed to put herself on second place, the Dutch ace here from in the 117. And she's getting ready, of course, for our race. This is just a 20-minute sprint, as you can see the lake on the exit of the infield of the track. Eddie's lights on, Eddie's lights out. It's drop the clutch and go, go, go. A great start from Augusto Fontes, and it looks to be that Alexander Mikkelsen with the teal car is heading down the inside line. Kyra Krassenberg leaving a little bit of space on the inside and then holding it through turn 2. We lost the car for a second there, hopefully coming back to us. That was Mikkelsen, I believe, and we've had an incident already. It's Basallo, the Portuguese driver, clashing, I think, and Scott Edwards also struggling. Giovanni Carvalho spinning as well, and we've lost a rear wing. I don't know if that qualifies as a 3-car accident, but we've certainly had 2 cars damaged. We've got debris all over the shop, and not for the first time this broadcast has Scott Edwards ended up with damage to his car as well. So a big problem for our drivers at the start here, and a quick replay here as the drivers, of course, going around the circuit. But yeah, absolute melee into turn 2. Just the way that the cars seem to come together, unfortunately, the way that they do going through turns 1 and 2, and we will see. It is a caution, I think, being thrown, so we will have time, hopefully, for these drivers at the back who are barely hanging on here to get a repair made, get a rear wing reattached to their cars. Oh wow, Rodrigo Basallo is struggling massively to hang on to this car and get it round for repairs. That is Rodrigo Basallo then, and you can see how unusual the car looks. It's also crabbing much more than Scott Edwards' car, but a yellow flag, a full course caution here in operation for our sprint race. The clock, though, continues to tick on as Charlotte is busy in the chat as well. Great to have you with us. Anybody who hasn't yet piped up and communicated with us, please do so. There goes Basallo. I think he has got some suspension damage as well, if not a puncture, because the car is struggling. Scott Edwards may not have appreciated that there is a full course caution and he has a missing rear wing. I do not fancy Scott Edwards' chances here running around what is admittedly a low downforce track, but you do need what downforce you can have when you need it here at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve. And I think under the fast chicanes, he will suddenly discover that things are desperately in need of repair. However, at the front of the circuit, it is as they were from the start of the race. Fontes ahead of Krassenberg, Mikkelsen and Rakitin, Devine, and I would love to see a replay of Richard Lucas's start, because he's come from near the back of the grid up to P6, so he's managed to navigate, I think, the restart, the standing start there that we had, and put himself in a great position. Ilya Rakitin dropping down the order while they're under this caution period. Sometimes I wonder if that was Ilya Rakitin there off the circuit who has crashed into the barrier. Certainly we have an issue here. We're just going back to see if we yeah, that is confirmed that to be Rakitin. So what on earth went down here? in the caution period. I've just got a black screen for a moment there. It's been redacted, I think, the accident for Ilya Rakitin. But yeah, for him at least, I'll just try and catch what's happening on my second screen. But he had a problem and has spun the car. But thankfully, he's back on track. We did see him dipping in and out of the session. I wonder if he is having some internet or mechanical issues there and causing problems for him. This is Richard Lucas and his start as the cars are still under caution. So it was a fairly equal start. If anything, it was a little bit slow, but that seems to have helped as he hugs that right-hand side here. Keen to hold the inside line for turn 2, giving good space on the outside, and then it is just a matter of the accidents running. Oh wow, he got so lucky running over the front wing of a spinning Scott Edwards, but that was about being cautious and not being too aggressive at the start as Richard Lucas gets himself into a great position. A more detailed look then at Basallo. Was Basallo actually the trigger point for every accident that then happened afterwards? He's clearly got a bit of overspeed. He spins the 57 around. Scott Edwards has absolutely nowhere to go. In fact, the Eco teammate runs into both of them as well, and then you can see the rear wings going flying as the 19 collides with the number 2. There is Richard Lucas, a very, very lucky driver to get away without a puncture, and the orange nose of the 39 managing to find his way by as well. But lots of damage, including those Ecolab. And there you can see Basallo has unfortunately lost his front right tyre. I'm not sure he has noticed because he's planting the throttle. There's clearly a big difference going on with his differential as well. But this is just the difficulty navigating this circuit with a crabbing, damaged car. And I wonder if his tyre let go in the end there. And you can see that the shoulder of the car stuck against the barrier. Hopefully Charlotte will be cheering on Kyra as she was last time round. But if you are watching with us live, and that is crazy to see Basallo also making contact once again. If you haven't said anything yet to us and told us who you're here to support, do let us know. Our drivers love to watch back and see who was following the race with them, and here to enjoy the racing with them as well. So they absolutely love it. As I mentioned, this is the penultimate round in the championship. We go out to Fuji, a long flight out to Fuji International Speedway for the final round of our championship here. Hopefully we can encourage plenty of drivers to come and make their debut or to feature as part of our race as well. You can see the time continues to tick by as we're under the second pace car lap. I wonder if Ilya Rakitin has been able to repair the car or get back into his seat. It looks like he's in the pits right now. So whatever befell Rakitin is certainly hurting, and he's currently 4th in our championship. He appears to not be too far away from Gergo Danko. Just about, I think that is 18 points from Gergo Danko. This is a big opportunity for Ilya Rakitin to possibly win one of our smallest cash prize for the championship this season, for the top 3 finishers in the championship. Eldar Nui and Kanto Chukweri not with us today, but I think they've probably done enough to secure their first and second places in the championship respectively. This is down the Casino Straight. The lights are still on the safety car. I wonder if they will be turning off and the safety car will come on in. We've had nearly 7 minutes of the 20 and we pretty much got one clean corner out of the start of the race so far. The pace car is staying out. Pace car stays out for us so we can see. But if I can just have a quick look then at the stages, I was going to say the stages results. No, I'm going to look at the most recent result. We can see that Kyra Krassenberg at Charlotte managed to go home with 14 points, 16 points from the Hungaroring, 13 from Road Atlanta, and 12 from Laguna Seca. We've got Ilya Rakitin, who's been scoring highly. He's had his worst round so far at Charlotte Roval. This one, though, might actually take the biscuit and be his worst result. But there is all to play for in the higher points paying feature race, of course, coming up. Brandon Devine missing out in Hungaroring, as I was, but scoring highly. 17 points from Charlotte Roval and a pair of 20-point scores from the first 2 rounds of the season as well. This is Augusto Fontes, as we just make sure that we get everything up and ready for you. This is the track map, of course, and you see them about halfway around the track at this current time as we get everything ready to get on with the rest of the race. We will have probably only about 10 minutes remaining of our sprint race here. The drivers do need to keep those tyres warm. Some of the drivers will be weaving and trying to maintain temperature. Some, though, will be wary of a situation such as struck Rodrigo Vassallo and Ilya Rakitin in these warm-up laps, although I can't necessarily claim that any specific thing happened to Rakitin there. I think possibly that was the unfortunate situation where we had ourselves a bit of a disconnection there earlier on. Our pace car driver is doing his job, heading down towards Le Pingle, literally the hairpin into this French-speaking part of Canada in Montreal. You can see, you often see the Expo Centre, the kind of globe-shaped museum and exposition centre as part of the feature of the Grand Prix coverage here. There's quite a few bits of interesting architecture around the circuit. There on the right hand side of your screen is the famous lake where teams have to build rafts often and race across the lake. And most of the time spent actually in the water. The lights are out on the safety car. We are ready to get underway for our race. Then as Augusto Fontes will take the lead of the race, will be in charge of the pace. I think he will get himself through the final chicane, but he's left it so late, in fact, that Kyra Krassenberg is right there with him, and she is tucked up underneath the rear wing of Augusto Fontes as we go green once again. Then back under racing conditions, Fontes slightly defensive, in fact getting a little bit locked up, and I think that's going to hurt him all the way through. And Kyra Krassenberg through, she goes down the inside line, and also followed by Mikkelsen, who is side by side. Mikkelsen now has the inside line on our former leader, Augusto Fontes, who sensibly yields through the corner, and that was almost an in the wall situation from Mikkelsen, who has his hands full here. The next turn, of course, is a left-hander. It's a chicane though, so if he can hold on long enough, there's a little tap there, but they've managed to keep pointing in the right direction. Advantage Brandon Devine, who has his next is the next one to queue up for a run on the way into the fearsome turn 8 and 9 chicane, the piff paff underneath the bridge, but thankfully Mikkelsen Fontes have made it through this time without further contact. Kyra Krassenberg, this is an absolute gift for her, an early Christmas present, as the drivers behind her are all fighting. Kyra Krassenberg though into the lead of the race, a 1.5 second gap after not even the first two sectors are complete of this restarted lap. It's minute 11 of the 20. There is not very far left to go, of course, under racing conditions, but Krassenberg ahead of Mikkelsen, ahead of Fontes, and then is Brandon Devine and Maxim Bunik, who started very low down, in fact dead last today in the qualifying session. Maxim Bunik in 5th place now, with Sorokivski almost backing the car directly into the wall of champions, as Bunik fires past Brandon Devine there. Bunik on the inside line, and he's managed to get ahead before they even get into the braking zone of turn 1, but he outbrakes himself, and there goes the duck spinning into the path of other drivers. Let's see if the rest of the field can make their way through. They have just about. Maxim Bunik was up as high as 5th position. I think that puts him way down the order now, down into 7th place at absolute best, if not further back. And unfortunately, he just made the overtake, and that was really, really difficult for him to take. This is back at the head of the field there, as Alexander Mikkelsen has been repassed by Augusto Fontes, and Brandon Devine watches on. But I don't think this battle is done with yet. Mikkelsen has great pace here in the teal 25 with the black tail. But Kyra Krassenberg's lead is being eaten into, I think, that she's possibly pacing herself here towards the end of this sprint race. But flying in the middle sector is Alexander Mikkelsen with a purple middle sector. Fantastic from him, with the advantage of the slipstream going through that difficult, twisty and technical section of the racetrack. Now it's all about pure power and aerodynamic performance. It's about the setup. How little wing dare you run for the course of this race? And tucked up behind, can we get ourselves into a position to outbrake Fuentes into the final chicane? Not quite. Kyra Krassenberg, you'll see how close the drivers will get to the wall with this fantastic camera angle. Wow, from Brandon Devine. He was gunning it well before the apex of the second part of the final chicane there. And he came very, very close to disaster running through that wall of champions. That's the pit lane exit on the left. We could be in for some variable weather throughout the course of today's broadcast, so do hold on to your hats. We don't want to miss anything that might happen. And that was a big snap from I think that was actually Fontes, who was struggling with the handling, clearly pushing really hard. And they are both, Fontes and Mikkelsen, catching Krassenberg here. And Krassenberg will have at the forefront of her mind the situation that took place on the final lap of the Charlotte Roval race. So she'll be absolutely mindful here. I know she's driving very well today because she beat me incredibly easily earlier on today when we were racing together. So she is absolutely on form and keyed in. It's no great achievement to beat me on track, I have to say, but she was flying today earlier on at the Bathurst circuit in Mount Panorama. It's a very different prospect here and a very completely different sim and car setup, but she's clearly very quick in anything she gets herself into. It's Mikkelsen, the newcomer, the rookie for Racing Lab Esports, who is showing incredibly well here. Fontes as well, we haven't seen before as they go through underneath the Dodge banner. And we'll see how close is Brandon Devine. He's keeping it a little bit calmer running through. Props to Scott Edwards out there, also in 5th place in the 444. That was a personal best lap from Kyra Krassenberg, but she is still losing time to Fontes, and the gap is down to half a second. We couldn't ask for a better battle going on for the top 3 positions here in the sprint race round of Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve, round 5 of our 6-round championship, as this is brand new, of course, here for the Ukrainian Racing League, and it's been so good to get such high quality racing and thoroughly brilliant entertainment already that we've built together as they run then through the middle part of the racetrack. This is the view back across Kyra Krassenberg's rear wing. There looks to be some sponsorship space up for sale there. If any businesses are watching, I'm sure she would happily take that, as we've got Fontes closing in to just 0.4 of a second. That is absolutely striking distance as they brake heavily into Lippingle, the right-hand hairpin here. The rocket front wing almost getting collected underneath the diffuser of Kyra Krassenberg's rear. But Fontes, of course, will be later onto the accelerator thanks to being more than a car length behind Krassenberg. But the slipstream now taking effect as the car starts to catch down this casino straight and all the way down into the braking zone. But there's no way through. Kyra Krassenberg not making any mistakes at this stage. It is 16 minutes 40 have elapsed of the 20. There'll be 2 or 3 more laps, but look like Kyra Krassenberg, just as I said, didn't make any mistakes. There was definite contact from both cars on the way into turn 1. I think perhaps she didn't see him in her blind spot, and this should be advantage to Mikkelsen, who goes by. Thankfully, Fontes, we would love to see a replay from Fontes' car there, because I think he managed to keep it out of the barrier. We'll need a closer up camera to see if his car is undamaged as well. But Fontes in 2nd place now. And there you can see, he did wall ride slightly, but just holding on and stamping on the anchors. Carvalho's appears to be in the pits. But here, as they go into the braking zone, it's difficult to not lay the blame for that one at Krassenberg's door. Unfortunately, I think a miscalculation into the braking zone there. Just Fontes was pointing along the line, the white line of the right-hand side of the circuit, in my humble opinion anyway, at this stage. But she obviously didn't gain anything from that. And thankfully, Fontes did not suffer any major damage either. Divine is right there. He's now in third position, as you never know when things are going to kick off here at the Ukrainian Racing League. Alexander Mikkelsen leads the race on his debut ahead of Fontes and Divine. Kyra Krassenberg, I think both cars escaping major damage. There might be a little bit of damage potentially on the cars, but escaping that damage so far as Krassenberg is catching Divine here as they head down towards that final chicane. That is Fontes, then Divine, who we've seen skating along the wall on the outside of that wall of champions, and then Krassenberg a little bit further back in P4. She's 2 seconds further back. It is a good, strong battle between Fontes and Divine. Further back, we've got Scott Edwards in the green and red car in 5th position. Sorokivski's in 6th. Bunik's in 7th place, recovering after his spin in turn 2. Then is Richard Lucas down in 8th with Giovanni Carvalho. We've seen him into the pit lane at least once, if not twice. Ilya Rakitin and Basalo, I believe, are taking no further part in this sprint race, as there's plenty of attention called on the banner there on the bridge, and we see Ilya Rakitin is back under racing speed. I think just getting his setup hooked in, getting his rhythm set for the race, but he is multiple laps down on the car who is most immediately in front of him on the circuit. This is Mikkelsen then in the 25, leading the race on the way through. Our biggest, highest scorers, a new champion and second position of the championship, are not with us today, so it is not exactly going to be what you would call, I guess, representative pace out front. Eldar Nui has spent most of this first season out in front of the rest of the field, but it's great that the drivers get a chance to run at the front and see what a clear track feels like, see how exciting and interesting things can get for those drivers who rarely have had a chance here at the front of the circuit. Passing by that famous wall of champions, they go to take the finish. That is Mikkelsen coming up. I believe Mikkelsen has now crossed the line. I don't see. Yes, there he is. Mikkelsen wins ahead of Fontes and Divine in the podium positions of the sprint race. Kyra Krassenberg crosses the line in 4th with Scott Edwards in 5th. Maxim Bunik looks like he will get hold of the 5th position. Here is Bunik with the orange beak nose, as across the line he goes in the 39. There is Maxim Bunik with Roma Sorokivski coming home just behind him in 7th place. The red, yellow and white Logitech sponsored entry of Richard Lucas, racing out of Haiti, is in 8th position, and I think will be unchallenged behind. But our podium in the sprint race will be Mikkelsen, Fontes and Divine. Great to see new drivers picking up the silverware from this sprint race and getting ready, of course, for a partially reversed grid for the feature race that will be coming up for you very, very soon. 40 minutes we will go, and hopefully a quarter of that race won't be spent under the pace car. The front disc glowing on Mikkelsen's car as he gets the car ready for coming in, picking up the rubber and making sure that he gets his car properly engineered, and any problems he might have been experiencing during the race, he gets a little bit of change on the setup and gets himself ready for the race. In towards pit lane we go for the 25. He'll pick up the winner then for the sprint race. But his key challenge here will be to get himself into a great position for our feature race. That's coming up for you very soon in 5 minutes time. Then we'll just have a pause and respite for our broadcasting until that begins. But be back with us in just under 5 minutes time for the feature race. Thank you. Oh no. Really? That was a bit of a mess, that first turn. Right, okay. Thankfully, drivers stayed on the lead lap as well. That's good. I'm here. Copy. Hi everybody, welcome back. The feature race is almost upon us. Looks like our partially reversed grid has been decided. So we have Ilya Rakitin, who will take the pole position for the feature race ahead of Giovanni Carvalho. A second chance at glory for those drivers today. Richard Lucas in third place with Roman Sorakivsky and Maxim Bunik ahead of Scott Edwards. Kara Krassenberg starting in seventh ahead of Divine Fontes, Mikkelsen and Barcelo. We are hoping for a safer route through the first two turns as we get underway then for our drivers. The red lights are on for the 40-minute feature race, and it's drop the clutch and go. Immediately I see Ilya Rakitin disappearing on us for a second there, and Giovanni Carvalho goes ahead, but it looks like Rakitin then is in fact ahead of everybody and has cleared his way into the lead of the race as they go side by side. Maxim Bunik in the thick of things. I wonder if we got a little touch of debris flying off the circuit there, or if it was just dirt kicking up. I didn't quite manage to make out exactly what happened, but Bunik is up into fifth place. Scott Edwards in the green and red is in fourth place with Sorakivsky and Carvalho just ahead of them. Ilya Rakitin leads them through the course of the first flying lap here in the feature race. Rakitin then ahead by 0.7 of a second at this early stage. Richard Lucas was the big loser of the start of the race. He's gone down to 11th position. I'm afraid my visuals have just frozen on me, so I'm unable to see exactly what is going down. I think they might have frozen for you, but we will get that back up for you as soon as possibly. No problem. We are gonna do our best to get this back for you. Hopefully, the drivers are still managing to push hard. I think the lights will be on for them. They're just off for us at this stage, and I can see on the track map things are still happening, and the drivers are still progressing at pace, as far as I'm aware. But we may have the situation where we have a red flag momentarily. We will wait and see what's happening with the drivers. As soon as we can get that to you, of course, we are working furiously in the background to get you those visuals back on as soon as possible. The drivers, though, are obviously continuing in sim to race as far as we can tell at this stage, and we will wait and see. As soon as we get those visuals back for you, we'll be obviously. We'll get this as soon as possible. It may take a restart from our end to get everything together for you. But we are doing our level best. Please trust that we'll get you plenty of action here. Looks like we had a temporary crash on the side of our producer's screen, and it looks like we are back into racing action, which is exactly what we want to see. Ilya Rakitin is ahead of Giovanni Carvalho and Scott Edwards. Alexander Mikkelsen and Brandon Devine have done an absolute miracle and got themselves all the way up into P4 and P5, would you believe? That is insane from near the back of the grid. Krassenberg has actually gone backwards. She started 7th, is now down in 8th position, but Rakitin holds on at the head of the field as we track with Brandon Devine here, who wants a good result to try and lift himself clear of Krassenberg in the outright standings. But that's Scott Edwards, no mistaking who that was. It was going on into the right-hander, unfortunately, and he's at the back, towards the back of the grid. That's Richard Lucas getting by, and this is him heading into the Lepingle hairpin. And thankfully he manages to hold still for long enough. That's almost driving backwards down the racetrack. And there's Barcelo a little possibly he saw something happening on his way in, but I desperately hope this isn't another squeeze from Krassenberg as they head down into that hairpin. Obviously, Barcelo slightly ahead, and that's a wheel hook, unfortunately, and he's catapulted into the air. Some would say karma for turn one, lap one, but unfortunately that has caused a problem for him as he's back on the hunt as he flies by Richard Lucas. There's plenty of time to catch up though, but Ilya Rakitin leads us by 5.5 seconds at the head of our field here in the feature race, making absolutely all of his ability at the start of the race. This is back with Krassenberg tucked up behind Augusto Fontes. They came together in the sprint race. Let's hope it isn't a repeat of what happened before. Fontes will be watching his mirrors carefully, and hopefully Krassenberg will be just keeping a little bit more of a wide margin on the way into these braking zones. That is the quick right left of turns 8 and 9. This is then the short shoot down towards the hairpin at the extreme west east of the circuit. In towards the hairpin we go. This exit all important, of course, as they ride out as far wide as possible. Kyra Krassenberg will have a golden opportunity here. It's just a matter of going left or right. The track is super wide at this point as well, so there should be plenty of opportunity. Look at the slipstream in action. There's a good defense coming from Fontes, who holds the inside line. Krassenberg forced to go around the outside. Can she run parallel through the final chicane? Nobody dares try that one, and Krassenberg hops over the curb, loses a shade